Are you ready?
My name is Vanha.
Do you feel that? So sometimes you just need the wind to brush over you and clear up your mind. Self-esteem is something that is misunderstood when you are out of alignment with yourself. Listening to the important factors that contribute to you feeling good and knowing who you are the key ingredients of what self-esteem is all about. So I want to raise your awareness to what robs you from being tuned in to feeling good about yourself and having the confidence you need to execute yourself on the journey that you call your life. So with saying that, I want to go and bridge the gap to this confusion or to this misunderstanding about who the self is and where esteem comes from, right? Okay, so let's take a deep breath in, because as you do, that is mostly of what you need to connect to your higher self. Self-esteem comes from a place that you know who you are, and that stems at fault most of the time when you are feeling disconnected with you and that aspect of knowing where you're going, what you're doing, what you've created, what's happening with your path, what's happening with your life. I see too often people losing their feeling and their feeling of feeling good and getting into the rut of that everyday expectation of being something that they're not, because they are being riddled in confusion and emotional distortions and fears and worries and anxieties of other people. Self-esteem comes to you from a place of your knowing. Your knowing is like something that is placed in your heart. It is the energy that pulses, that knows who you are. It knows that you are the true creator of your life. When the mind is unsettled and it gets confused with just that knowing and with the knowledge it's received, and there's no organization in how you're connected and what you're seeing and what you're saying, there's fragmentation in that energy. And that's where I see the very big gap of people feeling unsure about themselves that trigger a sense of false insecurities and unworthiness. And so, just by the way, unworthiness doesn't exist. You carry your worth within you. It is a knowing. It is actually a ray of light. So when you're tapped in and this connection comes and it is flourishing all around you and projecting this energy of knowing who you are and that you are the true creator of your life and that life has within itself the rich diversity where you are the one that chooses, then it calls you forward to be connected. And so I would say that if you're looking to raise your awareness or looking to being far more in yourself or having far more self-esteem about yourself, and that meaning that you're feeling good about yourself, that you're loving who you are, you know who you are confident that the choices you're making are the right choices for you. They're serving a purpose. They are uplifting you. They are empowering you and those around you. There is an energy about you. There is that glow about you. There is that confidence about you. There is that knowing that you're on path. You are serving a truth, and that is serving you and those around you. People get confused between their knowing and their knowledge, and those anxieties and those distortions that rob you and make you feel unworthy on this side of your energy field leaves you with this unsettled feeling that literally robs you of clarity and what you would call self-esteem. So we all go through our highs and our lows in life. But that is for us to evolve and grow and expand our own awareness of who we are being and what we know, right? So with that, I want to share that if you're looking to raise your self-awareness and feeling a little bit more confident or having a self-esteem energy that is truly awe-inspiring or affirming that you're pleased and happy with who you know you are and where you're going in your life, then the first ingredient that is needed here is your awareness to your higher connection of self. Now, saying that and feeling that are two very different things, right? So in saying that, you will know that how you feel about what you know impacts the vibration of who you are. I've got a little creature on me. There we go, because it knows I have the wisdom. Okay? So, and this is not a creature, this is actually a carpenter ant. And carpenter ants are workers. How incredible is this? That the universe throws me a carpenter ant because it's how, and I want to say thank you to the carpenter ant, because it's how we work our way through our own knowings with the knowledge that we have that gives us the wisdom to clear away the fog, to clear away those things within you that don't make you feel good. You know when you are on path. You also know that you have an emotional guidance that I often talk about through these episodes, about you being tuned into how you are feeling, forcing yourself to fake it until you make it, or forcing yourself to be in gratitude when you are really feeling angry and distorted and kind of resentful, is not the answer, because what it does, it separates, it tears you away from your emotional guidance system. It's so far much easier for you to just acknowledge and understand that those feelings are there for a reason, right? That builds confidence between you and who you are being. It also builds bridges of trust that then collapse and close the gap to this inner space that creates further confidence within you. So one, I raised your awareness. What is the number one tip to help you raise your self-esteem? I threw out there that your inner connection to yourself is vital. You connecting to your higher self is of utmost importance, right? Your second one, which I would say, is being able to listen, which is your intuition. Being able to listen to the vibrational feelings of how you are feeling. If you are feeling insecure or agitated or frustrated, those things are not the ingredients to support self-esteem, confidence, okay, or worthiness. However, when you are in alignment with yourself and you are feeling very confident with who you know who you are, you know where things are going because you've strategically connected with them, seen them, and you've communicated with yourself who you are being and where you're going in your life, means that you have got a plan that is working, right? When those feelings of the outside world come upon you, to agitate you or to shift you, or you get triggered or you get moved or inspired, you're able to continue to be confident Because the number one thing that's there is that you know. You know that you're connected to your higher self. And you also know that your higher self is benevolent to your overall life as you, the creator of your being. You also know that the seeds that you've planted are things that you've planted because you've desired and because of the things you want. Confidence coming in comes from trusting those knowings, trusting yourself. Now, I'm not talking about arbitrary things out there, or I'm not talking about you having a desire to be an architect and you know you want to be an architect, but you haven't studied to be an architect. I'm not talking about that. Everything has its wisdoms, everything has its space, and everything has its place. Okay? But most important, everything also has its timing. In a space of self-esteem, it is the self that is known to know who the self is. You cannot be in a place of self-esteem holding yourself in a higher grade, in a higher knowing or a higher gratitude of self when your inner self, when the talkings of yourself is berating and hurting and bringing you down in every way with judgments and insecurities and worries and fears. Those are not matches to being confident with oneself. Confidence is not a word. Confidence is a beauty and a connection of energies that come together to create a sense of being that is showcased when somebody meets somebody else. You know when somebody is ego-driven and pulsating the mind and forcing and projecting this forceful energy. And you also know when you meet that person that they have this inner ability and charm and sequence of expressions that constitute what you would call a beautiful way of being that exudes confidence, worthiness, and compassion. These things are important in a world that is so driven by the mind and is thirsty for those that are pulsating purpose and desire. I believe that self-esteem is very important. But I also know that self-esteem can only be and be blossomed from within your own knowing of who you are. You cannot be rich and poor at the same time, just as much as you can't be happy and sad at the same time. Well, self-esteem is kind of in similar ways the same. You can't look at others and want to be like them. It doesn't build self-esteem. Self-esteem comes from you looking at you and building up confidence in you being who you are. And I think that the culprit in all of this is those that berate themselves, take away from who they are, speak ugly words to themselves, do not honor themselves, their words, their visions, and those little things that contribute to this word that is out there of being in gratitude and awoken to what self-esteem is. So in saying this, I want to raise your awareness to the self within you. What brings you this feeling of feeling confident? Well, it's just like closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in, and boom, you feel connected. And just like that, the wind sweeps over you, right? When you are in tune and alignment with your intentions. There are little tricks along the way that I want to share today that help you stay on path. Setting intentions along your way and along your path help you clear the path between you and you, which we call the self, right? So if you're going to work and you wake up in the morning, how you wake up in the morning determines your day, right? So set the intention early in the morning. What do you know about yourself? Are you a morning person? Are you not a morning person? Do you love breakfast? You don't love breakfast? Are you always rushing? Are you always running late? Are you giving yourself the time? It doesn't really make a difference what you're doing. It's how you're doing it that brings those parts to you to know the self. And it's those little things there that are building blocks. These building blocks here constitute your vibrational equity that then gives you a vibrational wave of connection when you meet somebody else. It's not somebody else that's going to give you the self-esteem, just as much as it's not somebody else that can take that self-esteem away. If you're meeting chaos, it's because chaos has just shown up in your life, because either you are being chaotic yourself or you're going through a chaos moment. But that doesn't mean that you're losing your self-esteem or your confidence along the way. How you maneuver through that chaos is truthfully and simply up to you. Your ability to equate how you know who you are being and how you handle your emotional ability is huge. Do you panic through these chaos moments? Do you become paralyzed that you don't know what to move and know what to do? You can't think? Do you get stressed out? Do you get excited? Some people get excited about a little bit of chaos. It gets them moving. It gets them out of that lethargic way of being. The truth is that only you know. So self-evaluation equates to self-esteem as well, right? Knowing who you are, evaluating who you are, and being able to progress on that journey builds up that confidence between you and your higher self. And that right there is what people don't speak about. It's not the new age language. It's an ancient tool. It's the conversation of the gods. It is the language of the universe. If your higher self already knows everything about you, and we've spoken about this before, but if your higher self knows who you are, isn't that a great reason to give yourself that self-confidence of tuning in to your ultimate resource, so that you too are able to build up building blocks of confidence and blocks of gold within your ether that contribute to the knowing that is within your heart and connects you to your mind. One that knows himself is the one that knows how to get himself to the place that he wants to go. So, a lot of wisdom and a lot of great food for thought here today. So ask yourself, where am I with my own self-esteem? Do I believe who I am? Do I know who I am? And more important, do I trust who I am being and being confident with who I am? Voila. To you and your confidence, and to you being strong and knowing who you are.
My name is Vanessa.